Aloha! Welcome back. This is the Screwtape Letters Lenten series. I'm Goodman from Talking with a Goodman. This is Screwtape 24. 24! We only got 7 left. Crazy. So, I know I'm acting excited. I'm actually pretty freaked out. It's just, I'm on video. I don't like to look like an idiot. But I'm sure some people would argue that anyway. But I have to tell you what happened. It's insane. It still kind of boggles my mind.
Welcome to the Freak Show.
2 things actually, but let's start the show first. My dear Wormwood, I have been in correspondence with Slum Trimpet, who is in charge of your patient's young woman, and begin to see the chink in her armor. It is an unobtrusive little vice, which she shares with nearly all women who have grown up in an intelligent circle, united by a clearly defined belief, and it consists in a quite untroubled assumption that the outsiders who do not share this belief are really too stupid and ridiculous. The males who habitually meet these outsiders do not feel that way. Their confidence, if they are confident, is of a different kind. Hers, which she supposes to be due to faith, is in reality largely due to the mere color she has taken from her surroundings. It is not, in fact, very different from the conviction she would have felt at the age of 10 that the kind of fish knives used in her father's house were the proper or normal or real kind, while those of the neighboring families were not real fish knives at all. Now the element of ignorance and naivety in all this is so large, and the element of spiritual pride so small, that it gives us little hope of the girl herself. But have you thought of how it can be made to influence your own patient? It is always the novice who exaggerates. The man who has risen in society is over-refined, the young scholar is pedantic. In this new circle your patient is a novice. He is there daily meeting Christian life of a quality he never before imagined, and seeing it all through an enchanted glass because he is in love. He is anxious, indeed the enemy commands him, to imitate this quality. Can you get him to imitate this defect in his mistress, and to exaggerate it until what was venial in her becomes in him the strongest and most beautiful of the vices, spiritual pride? The conditions seem ideally favorable. The new circle in which he finds himself is one of which he is tempted to be proud for many reasons other than its Christianity. It is a better educated, more intelligent, more agreeable society than any he has yet encountered. He is also under some degree of illusion as to his own place in it. Under the influence of love, he may still think himself unworthy of the girl, but he is rapidly ceasing to think himself unworthy of the others. He has no notion how much in him is forgiven, because they are charitable and made the best of, because he is now one of the family. He does not dream how much of his conversation, how many of his opinions, are recognized by them all as mere echoes of their own. Still less does he suspect how much of the delight he takes in these people is due to the erotic enhancement which the girl for him spreads over all her surroundings. He thinks that he likes their talk and way of life because of some congruity between their spiritual state and his, when in fact they are so far beyond him that if he were not in love, he would be merely puzzled and repelled by much which he now accepts. He is like a dog which should imagine it understood firearms because its hunting instinct and love for its master enable it to enjoy a day's shooting. Here is your chance. While the enemy, by means of sexual love and of some very agreeable people far advanced in his service, is drawing the young barbarian up to levels he could never otherwise have reached, you must make him feel that he is finding his own level, that these people are his sort, and that, coming among them, he has come home. When he turns from them to other society, he will find it dull, partly because almost any society within his reach is, in fact, much less entertaining, but still more because he will miss the enchantment of the young woman. You must teach him to mistake this contrast between the circle that delights and the circle that bores him, for the contrast between Christians and unbelievers. He must be made to feel, he'd better not put it into words, how different we Christians are. And by we Christians, he must really, but unknowingly, mean my set. And by my set, he must mean not the people who, in their charity and humility, have accepted me, but the people with whom I associate by right. Success here depends on confusing him. If you try to make him explicitly and professedly proud of being a Christian, you will probably fail. The enemy's warnings are too well known. If, on the other hand, you let the idea of we Christians drop out altogether and merely make him complacent about his set, you will produce not true spiritual pride, but mere social vanity, which by comparison is a trumpery, puny little sin. What you want is to keep a sly self-congratulation mixing with all his thoughts and never allow him to raise the question, what precisely am I congratulating myself about? The idea of belonging to an inner ring, of being in a secret, is very sweet to him. Play on that nerve. Teach him, using the influence of this girl when she is silliest, to adopt an air of amusement at the things the unbelievers say. Some theories which he may meet in modern Christian circles may here prove helpful. Theories, I mean, that place the hope of society in some inner ring of clerks, some trained minority of theocrats. It is no affair of yours whether those theories are true or false. The great thing is to make Christianity a mystery religion in which he feels himself one of the initiates. Pray do not fill your letters with rubbish about this European war. Its final issue is, no doubt, important, but that is a matter for the High Command. I am not in the least interested in knowing how many people in England have been killed by bombs. In what state of mind they died, I can learn from the office at this end. That they were going to die sometime, I knew already. Please keep your mind on your work. Your affectionate uncle, Screwtape. And that is letter 24. So 2 things happened to me. The first one, I was done building letter 23 and ready to upload. And by the way, I want to preface this with a little disclaimer that I was told, by a very good friend of mine, I've got to just kind of let you in on the background stuff more. But anyway, 2 things happened to me. And the first one, I was done building letter 23 and ready to upload. I go to upload it, and the entire thing goes away, deleted. It was about 12:30 in the morning at that point. So I had to go back and rebuild it, and I didn't get done until about 3 a.m. I say that because that's the one instance I can remember where I know the forces of Satan were behind this. I felt defeated. I was so angry. I was so tired, and he hit me when I was down already, And the thing is, since that happened, so many things have happened to make me not be able to record. Loud noises, mowers at the right second that I'm hit record. Literally started talking, and out of nowhere a big mower comes, or a weed eater over here, or I need to go do legitimate stuff for my family, And I'm not taking away from that because I want to be there for them, but also I got to do this. So I'm trying to just balance the time. It's very difficult. Remind me never to do this again where I'm making the video every day. Although it's been good practice, I'll say that. But anyway, I'm digressing. So my friends, my brothers and sisters of mine watching this, hell doesn't want me to finish this, okay? So please pray that I can get this done. I don't say this for pity. I'm not looking for that. But what I want is prayers, including me to learn something from Clive Staples Lewis. So last night I'm doing the dishes, and I thought out of the corner of my eye, something darted behind the kitchen island. It was black. I plainly saw it. And I thought Dominic honestly put a black sweater on and jumped behind the island when I wasn't looking because he's really good at that kind of stuff. So I went over and I checked it out, and there was nothing there. I thought one of my sons was playing a joke on me. Nope. But you guessed what was there. Then I immediately got a few temptations in my mind to watch something and wind down. But I sat there and I saw through all of it. I sat there and it dawned on me what was happening. And once I quickly put 2 and 2 together, I realized what it was. And I just laughed openly. So I've been reading Father Loretti's book, Diaries of an American Exorcist. And in it, I know I'm not an exorcist. I understand all that. I know the rules. But at the same time, he talks to them like they're children. Like they'll do something evil and he'll be like, nice try. And I'm not above them, although we are stronger than them in Jesus. And only because of Jesus, we are stronger than the demons. We know. But I just laughed openly. I said out loud, you've got to be kidding me. Do you think I'm that stupid to not notice when I have the God of the universe, my Jesus, living inside me? Nice try. And then I went to bed. I just say all that because I want everyone to know that this is difficult. It's a struggle, but I'm holding my head up. I'm fighting through this. I keep getting trickles of emails in encouraging me. People have begun writing blogs about this journey. My closest friends currently are so supportive of me, and it all just fuels me and strengthens me to actually finish, I'm literally getting everything thrown at me to keep me from making these videos and finishing, and it gets worse every day. Anyway, back to the show. Please pray for me. My last name, Goodman, is a hard one to live up to. It really is. Daily I work to kill pride, be forgiving while striving for humility because, hey, we're all made for greatness, and God calls us to be a good man. I want to ask you, please join me in striving to be that good man for yourself, your family, your church, and most importantly for God. And once you realize we're all good men, deep down past our struggles with sin, past our failings, and seeing our successes in life, our magnanimity, you'll begin to grow. And when we truly embrace being a good man, it gives us great power in Jesus. And like Spider-Man said, with great power comes great responsibility. So let us be great. Let us be noble. Let us be constantly full of the Holy Spirit. In doing so, you will truly be a good man. And like Spider Guy said, copyright, with great strength comes great ownership of things you should be caring for in life. So let us be great. Let us be noble. Let us be constantly full of the Holy Spirit and not full of poo. In doing so, you will truly be a good man. So, today's theme in Marlon De La Torre's study guide is dignity of the human person. And I got the book right here. I'm going to look at it. I already have it on the screen, but don't care. It is dignity of the human person. And the theme verse is from Matthew 5, 3-12. And it says, it is the Beatitudes. It says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So really listen to this. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. So pick your battles, guys, with your sons and your daughters. If your sons demand something, pick your battles. Maybe not demand your way or our way, and just go with it. Doesn't matter. Last night Dominic wanted to use a stool to put the TV monitor on, and instead of arguing with him, which I wanted to do because I had a different idea of what I wanted for the monitor, I said, okay, sure. And he was happy. He got to have his way. Give that to our kids. They need that. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when men revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely in my account. Like, how dare they, right? How dare they say those mean things about me? But we're blessed when we have that happen. Isn't that insane? So rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For so men persecuted the prophets who were before you. The Beatitudes. What an awesome way to start this, with blessings to all of us. You are who you associate with. If this statement were completely true, we would be carefully gauging our friends. If you spend your time with drunks and party goers, you'll eventually give in and become like them. I've been there. I have lived a very dark life before, and it's very humbling to know where I've been and not wanting to return to that. It's tempting. It's fun. It really is fun, but it's not the right thing. And the key, if you're married and you have a family, is not straying too far from your wife. My wife is my foundation. Jesus is my foundation. My wife is like home base for me, Don't allow Satan to isolate you. Don't allow him to get you away from the pack, And that's why we have Bear School of Manliness too, is we are a pack of guys. And if we stay together, if we stick together, we're stronger together than separate. And if you allow yourself to be isolated, then that's right where Satan can fuddle with things and distort and confuse. Our wives are so key. If you are not married, you have to be careful of the friends you pick. I had a young man recently actually say something to me that just blew me away. I'll change the name to protect the amazing. So Phil, who is a young teen, said that he is thankful for his innocence and that thankfully all of his friends are also innocent, and so he's not allowed himself to become non-innocent. To which I said, you mean jaded. He didn't know what that meant, which was really awesome. That's good. So I told him it's the opposite of innocent. Jaded literally means tired, bored, or lacking enthusiasm, typically after having had too much of something. So at first glance, you don't really see an opposite of innocence there, but if you have too much sin, it exhausts the good innocence in you and it makes you jaded. So praise God he has friends like that. Too often we tend to end up either by work situations or in places like basic training where we can't help it but be around the worst people. I think that's an opportunity to be in a battleground, a testing ground, to see how strong your faith is. I went through basic training at a time in 1993 when the weekends would come and we would earn the privilege of going into town. Almost every single time these soldiers that did this ended up in fights, got drunk, got hooked on chewing tobacco, went to strip clubs, and ended up getting into a lot of trouble. I was trained before I left by a bunch of old Vietnam vets who told me to stay at the barracks because they had messed up. They knew what they did wrong over in Vietnam, and they know better now. And they were trying to train me. I mean, I went in '93, so that was 20 years after about the time of Vietnam. So anyway, they said, stay at the barracks, read, do something, but just stay there, go work out, rest, find the quiet crowd. I did, and I ended up doing very well in training and was alert a lot. It's not that I was better than them, because believe me, part of me wanted to be cool and go with them. I mean, seriously, it looked like clearly when they came back that I missed out on a good time. But is it really a good time? Like, what does that really mean? You know? So, but I had a system in place to protect myself. The issue too with pride and the lack of respect. The issue too with pride and the lack of respect are the weapons of choice for Screwtape and Wormwood toward the patient and the patient's young woman. The aim here is to convince the patient he's not worthy of the young woman because of his new demeanor and the new intellectual friends the patient has chosen to associate with. Screwtape tells us success here depends on confusing the patient about what is real. And isn't that so true? Sometimes our wives say things to us and we interpret it differently than what it was meant to be conveyed to us. We literally see different, not literally, but we definitely sense different things, and we're confused by what was really said to us, and we react on that. And that's where there's fuddling involved, you know. There's something to say about the imagery we're shown in the movie The Matrix. Pulling the blinders off of us, pulling the things out of his stomach and chest, and then seeing what was really in front of him. It shows us the pride we've been living in, but the beautiful world that awaits if we just look around through the eyes of Jesus. Believe me, I have not arrived here. I still struggle with pride. It's a constant battle to be in that state of humility. Screwtape's attempt to confuse the patient fails in not understanding the ability of human beings altogether. The Beatitudes are an integral part of human action. They respond to the natural desire for happiness, and that's from Catechism 17:18. True happiness has its origin in God. God has placed this gift in the heart of all mankind. Screwtape's attempt to draw a negative outlook from the patient to the young woman fails to understand the dignity each possesses. So how can we apply this to our lives in the here and now? Like, everybody always wants to know, like, okay, you've said a lot of awesome things, but how can we use that in our daily life, right? Where we're at. We are not called to fight Satan. We know this. But we have control over our bodies if we choose to. Satan's not allowed to kill us, but he can mess with us, harm us if we allow him to, and tempt beyond belief. But we can at any time say the name of Jesus, where every knee will bow to earth and those below the earth, demons and Satan, and they know this. And that's power, but it's power through God and not our own power. Why do you think he said that? Why do you think he said what he said before Jesus called him out of the man into the pigs? So I just want to read this to you as an encouragement that we have power in Jesus to say no to temptations around us. To simply say no, see what it is, see it for what it is, and then walk away. Laugh at him and walk away. So when he saw Jesus, he cried out and fell down before him. This is a guy who's possessed with demons, with a legion of demons, actually, is what it says later. I just left that out. He said with a loud voice, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beseech you, do not torment me." See what the demons said? They said, "Son of the Most High God." They know their place. They know God is the high, blessed God, and the true torment for Satan is that in being who he is, he ironically actually brings about the glory of God, even in his wretchedness in an indirect way, if we choose to be close to Jesus. Job was, and Satan was allowed to torment him, but ended up pushing him closer to God, who saw his faith and strengthened him more than he was the first time. And you can kind of see where the patient's going too. But I won't give it away yet. Not that you can't read ahead, but We can take part in this by knowing 6 things about Jesus and his church, according to Marlon De La Torre's book. Number 1, we take part in his resurrection by being born to a new life via baptism. Number 2, we're members of his body, which is the church. Number 3, we can do nothing without God's love. This means his gift of grace is something to embrace and apply. Number 4, grace calls us to become children of God. Grace will help the patient see the value of the young woman as a child of God and not as a nuisance. Number 6, Grace allows us to participate in the life of God. Thank you for being a part of this today. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your likes, your beautiful comments that are very humbling, if you only knew, and your subscribes to my channel. Pray for protection for me. I'll pray that for you, and I'll see you all tomorrow. I'm out.